Dear students, today our topic is regarding the structure of vascular cambium and its functions. As all of us know, woody plants like trees and shrubs live for many years. Each year, new primary growth is resumed and the plant increases in length at its growing tips. In addition, the plant increases in diameter or girth. Increase in girth is called secondary growth and results from the activity of cambium. There are two types of cambium, that is vascular cambium and choric cambium. Vascular cambium produces secondary vascular tissues, secondary xylem and secondary phloem. It is a lateral meristem that develops either as a longitudinal strand or as a hollow cylinder. In woody dicotyledons and gymnosperms, the primary vascular tissues of the stem and the root exist for only a relatively short period, and later their function is taken over by secondary vascular tissues which are produced by the cambium. It is located between the xylem and phloem and in stems and roots. Commonly has the shape of cylinder. In many herbaceous angiosperms and also in most of the recent lower vascular plants, cambium is absent or vestigial. In majority of dicotyledons and gymnosperms, a portion of the procambium remains meristematic even after the completion of the primary growth and develops into the cambium of the secondary body. The part of the cambium which lies within the bundles of primary vascular tissue of the stem is called fascicular cambium, and the strips of the fascicular cambium became joined by the additional strips of the cambium, generally known as interfascicular cambium. It develops from the interfascicular parenchyma and thus constitutes a secondary meristem. In most of the dicot angiosperms and gymnosperms, the cambial cylinder develops between the primary xylem and primary phloem, which later produces the secondary xylem centripetally and secondary phloem centrifugally. Now, structure of vascular cambium. The vascular cambium is the meristematic tissue which is made up of two types of initials, the fusiform initials and ray initials. The former is long elongated cell with pointed ends, while later is small and almost isodimetric. The fusiform initials give rise to all cells of the xylem and phloem that are arranged longitudinally, forming longitudinal or axial system of the xylem and phloem. The axial system of the xylem consists of tertiary elements, fibers, xylem parenchyma, while that of the phloem includes sieve elements, phloem fibers and phloem parenchyma. The ray initials, on the other hand, give rise to ray cells, which are the elements of transverse system of both xylem and phloem. The initials differ from each other mostly in length and volume, the fusiform initials being much larger than ray initials. The initials are uninucleate irrespective of their size, but recently a few reports have shown the occurrence of more than one nucleus per cell of the cambium. Although the nuclei of the fusiform initials may be markedly larger than those of the ray initials, their volumes do not increase in proportion to the cell volumes, so that ratio of nuclear volume to cell volume is much smaller in the fusiform cells. The fusiform initials show a wide range of variation. Some of these variations depend on the plant species. Fusiform initials vary in length within species, partly in relation to growth conditions. They also show length modifications associated with developmental phenomena in a single plant. Generally, the length of the fusiform initials increases with age of the axis, but after reaching to certain maximum, it remains relatively stable. However, Gauss and Iqbal 1975 in certain arid zone species of Acacia and Prosopis have found the length of the fusiform initials to fall shorter than one reported limit of Bailey 1923 for non-stratified cambium. The changes in the size of the fusiform initials bring about similar changes in the secondary xylem and phloem cells derived from these initials. The cambial cells are highly vacuolated. Their walls have primary pit fields with plasmodesmata. The radial walls are thicker than the tangential walls, particularly during the dormancy, and primary pit fields are developed deeply. Now, structure of protoplast. Bailey 1920 observed that in spite of their large size, the fusiform initials are uninucleate. He also stated that in summer high temperatures, protoplasm streaming is active and there is a very large vacuole penetrated by a system of anastomizing threads. When temperature is low, the vacuole tends to divide into varying number of small independent vacuoles. Recent electron microscopic studies have revealed that fusiform initials and ray initials are essentially alike and both have the basic content of organelles and membranes typical of parenchyma cells. The active growing cambial cells were found to have one or two large vacuoles and contains rough endoplasmic reticulum and polyribosomes. The Golgi bodies are active in the production of vesicles. Mitochondria occur singly. Microtubules were found in the peripheral cytoplasm. In winter, the vacuoles were small and numerous. The plasma lemma was thrown into folds and the endoplasmic reticulum occurred mostly in the form of smooth vesicles. Mitochondria were sometimes found to occur in a chain. In the cells of resting cambium, oil droplets and protein bodies were found. Roberts and Kidwai 1969 suggested that these inclusions are storage materials which are required during the first stage of differentiation at the beginning of growing period. Now, types of cambia. In tangential view, the arrangement of cambia show two basic patterns in the vascular plants: stratified and non-stratified type. Stratified type. In this type of fusiform initials occur in horizontal tiers, uniform in size, with the ends of the cells of one tier appearing approximately at the same level. Such meristem is called storied or stratified cambium. This type is of rare occurrence and characteristic of plants with short fusiform initials. For example, Robinia pseudoacacia, Dalbergia latifolia, Dalbergia schizo, Tamarix aphylla, etc. Now, non-stratified type. In this type, the fusiform initials are not arranged in horizontal tiers and their ends overlap. This type is of general occurrence, having long fusiform initials and found in majority of vascular plants. This type of meristem is termed as non-storied or non-stratified cambium. Bailey 1923 concluded that stratified cambia are phylogenetically more advanced than that of non-stratified ones, and further suggested that stratified cambia have developed by gradual reduction of size of the cells and of longitudinal sliding growth. Now, cell divisions. The cambial initials and the cells which are derived from them but have not yet undergone differentiation divide periclinally and anticlinally in a longitudinal plane. As a result of periclinal divisions, which are more numerous, new cells are added to the secondary phloem and secondary xylem. The derivatives of each initial therefore form radial rows which can sometimes also be distinguished in the xylem and phloem. As a result of secondary thickening, the circumference of the xylem cylinder increases. Together with this, the cambium also increases in circumference by addition of new cells. In non-storied cambium, the addition of new fusiform initials is brought about by longitudinal anticlinal divisions of the existing initials. On the other hand, in non-storied cambium, the fusiform initials undergo oblique pseudotransverse anticlinal divisions, followed by apical intrusive growth, and each of the new initials became as long as mother initial, or even longer than that from which it is derived. Some investigators use the term multiplicative divisions with reference to anticlinal divisions that increase the number of initials, in contrast with additive periclinal divisions that contribute cells to the xylem and the phloem. Now, ray initiation. During the enlargement of the cambial cylinder, new ray initials develop and fusiform initials are continuously lost from the cambium, which are replaced by new ones. The ray initials may be formed in various ways as summarized here. Number 1. A single cell may cut off the side of the fusiform initials as a lateral segment. Number 2. A single cell may cut off the end of the fusiform initials as a terminal segment. Number 3. A declining fusiform initial may be reduced to a single ray initial. Number 4. The whole or the part of the fusiform initial may be segmented by transverse divisions to form a tier of ray initials. It is also believed that the ray initials may originate in more than one way in the same plant. Rays may increase in width and height by fusion of two or more groups of ray initials. Such fusions result from the intervening fusiform initials or by multiplication of already existing ray initials of the adjacent panels of rays. Now, activity of cambium. Plants growing in tropical regions have active cambium throughout the entire life. In contrast to this, in plants of temperate region, the cambium almost ceases its activity with the commencement of unfavorable season, usually in autumn. And this dormant stage remains till the following spring, when it is reactivated and produces new xylem and phloem. The cambial cells uptake water, enlarge radially, and divide periclinally. The periodicity in the cambial activity is not confined to temperate regions, but also takes place in tropical trees where it is less clearly related to seasonal changes in the environment and may be weakly expressed. It occurs in both deciduous and evergreen trees. Anatomically, this activity consists of two stages: radial widening of cambial cells and cell divisions in these cells. There is a close correlation between initiation of cambial activity and the resumption of the growth of buds in spring. Various experiments have shown that the auxin and the gibberellin are among the factors that stimulate the cambial activity. Probably the auxin produced in the growing buds is precipitally translocated in stem and induces cambial divisions. Cytokinins, which are considered to stimulate the cell division, may also affect the cambial activity. Kinetin increases the cell number. The highest rate of cell division was attained in presence of auxin, gibberellin, and kinetin together, and when other growth factors like food, water, and temperature are also available. There is a considerable evidence to show that duration of cambial activity is affected by day length conditions. In Robinia pseudoacacia, for example, the cambium is dormant under short day condition, and this effect is apparently photoperiodic rather than resulting from the differences in photosynthesis. Cambial activity is genetically controlled, and in most of the plants, rhythm is fixed through evolution under certain environmental limitations. Now, functions of cambium. Cambium is responsible for the diametric growth of plants and is of a great significance, particularly with respect to the wood that is produced. Cambial activity ensures the perennial life of trees through the regular renewal of functional xylem and phloem. The daughter cells produced by the cambial initials give rise to a wide variety of wood cells whose unique characteristics and three-dimensional associations define the intrinsic structure of wood. In temperate trees, due to the seasonal activity of the cambium, annual rings are formed in the wood. Due to these annual rings, the age of the tree can be determined, and also climate of the year can be predicted by way of comparing width of these rings. Katzen 1994 described 4 possible roles of cambium. Number 1, production and renewal of functional vascular elements. Number 2, maintenance of meristem itself. Number 3, translocation of nutrients between phloem and xylem. Number 4, transmission of signal growth regulators which ensures differentiation of vascular elements. Thank you, dear students. After listening today's topic, I hope that you are now well versed with structure of vascular cambium and its functions. Thank you once again.